Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're Two Sisters Southern Cooking. We are making Mom's blueberry pie, and the beginning of it is going to be done on the stove, and then we'll mix everything together in here and put it into the pie crust. You preheat the oven to 400
and then we drop it down to 375
when we put the pie in. So we're going to go ahead and mix our cornstarch and our water to make a slurry that's going to help thicken the juices in the pie.
And then we'll take the GoPro to the kitchen and we'll do the rest of it on the stove because we're going to actually add this slurry into our mixture in there. It's going to be very thick like a paste. So,
okay. Reminds me of milk.
But it's going to definitely thicken up the blueberries. Give it a nice thick texture.
Alright, we have that done, so now we're going to the stove, and then when we're done at the stove, we'll be back in here to kind of combine everything all together.
And then we'll pour it into our pie crust.
Alright, y'all, I'm going to put about a cup of blueberries in here. I'm going to add about 3/4 of this sugar. Leave enough, just that'll be enough to go on top of the pie. And we're going to cook these until they start popping and loosening up their own juices as well. About 5 minutes. And then we add in our slurry we just made and let it cook for another couple minutes until it thickens. And then we'll add in the rest of our blueberries and all our seasonings. So this is looking really good. So, all right, so we'll be back here shortly because this is going to have to come to a boil. All right, y'all, look how lovely this looks. So I'm going to add in our slurry, and that's going to help thicken it. And that'll take just a couple minutes for it to basically come back to a boil and thicken. And then we'll move on to our next step, which will be on the prep station in there with the rest of the blueberries and all the seasonings and the butter and
all the other ingredients.
Lemon juice.
Yummy.
So this looks like it's trying to already thicken.
It looks so good. And it smells heavenly. Alright guys, we'll show you our next step when we're at the prep station.
What we're going to do is we're going to put our cooked blueberries into this big bowl. And we're going to let them cool down just slightly. And then we'll add in all the rest of the ingredients and mix it well.
This is our mom's recipe. And it doesn't take long for this actually to cool down too warm.
No.
At all. So. It's that season where you're starting to get all your pie ingredients.
Be careful, it's hot. Yeah. Alright, so this will sit here for a couple minutes until it's not so hot. But you don't want it to be not warm or anything. You just want it to be just a little bit cooler than it is right now, and then we'll mix everything else in.
Because we're going to fold it all in, and then we'll pour it into our pie pan.
And then we'll put our pie crust on top.
Yeah.
And then it'll go in the oven.
I'm thinking about doing a little design on the top with our pie crust. Because I'm going to do a lattice and I'm going to try something. So.
Okay, we'll see you shortly. You are getting the pie crust ready for the top.
Yes.
And I am going to stir in the rest of these blueberries and seasonings that we have here. So I'm gonna just fold these together, and then I'll add in the rest of the sugar and butter, lemon zest.
And what I'm doing here is I'm making a type of a lattice. So it'll give it a different look. Real cute.
Okay, we have our lemon juice, and we have the rest of our sugar. And we have our butter, which I cubed up, so
it makes it easier to melt.
Yeah.
When it's in the mixture and it's baking.
And you want this to be cooled down a decent amount before you go put it in your pie crust, which I honestly think that our blueberries that were not cooked, the ones that we just added in, those were pretty cold, so I think it probably cooled this mixture down adequately enough to go ahead and put it straight into the pie crust.
Our neighbors down the street have a blueberry bush, and they give us blueberries every year, so we freeze them.
We
put them up.
always have blueberries.
So we put them up so they come fresh from the freezer.
Oh yeah, this is definitely ready.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna get the pie pan over here. I'm going to add in the blueberries. You can see the little chunks of butter that are going to spread throughout. Scrape down the bowl and get as much of this liquid out as you.
That looks so good. Our mom has been making blueberry pies ever since we were children, and she makes some homemade, and there's nothing like a homemade recipe from your mom.
Just gonna spread this out. And we preheated the oven to 400, but when we go to put it in, we're gonna lower the temp down to 375, and you're gonna bake it for 40 to 45 minutes or until it's bubbling. And then you know that your blueberries have cooked.
And we strongly recommend you put a pan underneath it because of the juices.
Boiling over.
Will boil over, and then it will stink up your oven, and of course, then you have to clean it. All right, so let's see if this actually works, Elsie. What do you think? I'll lay these on here and let you weave them if you want. This one actually can be a shorter one. Probably keep them right there. And let me put that one in the middle because that one's longer.
Right.
It's shorter. What do you think? Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
And then maybe I can fix something for around the edge if Elsie wants to weave those. Then I can do like a little border around the edge to seal it in. We can go around the complete perimeter of the pie if we need to. It's almost like braiding. It's exactly what it reminds me of.
and I did this recipe several years ago, and we put our own little spin on it. We added turbinado sugar, we added lemon zest, and all these little fancy things to it. We decided we were going to take it back to the basics. We grew up with simple things. We didn't have anything fancy. We grew up with lemon juice, granulated sugar. We did an egg wash with an egg, and that's what we took it back to, like Mama did. And we were paying tribute to her because of her cooking was such an inspiration to both of us that it gave us something to build a foundation on. And we're pretty proud of that. And we wanted to pay tribute to our mom.
I'm Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're Two Sisters Southern Cooking.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.